Hey guys, Mr. Titan here, and today I'm going to be rewriting the 5th season of Total Drama All-Stars. Well, looks like I have my work cut out for me. Now, I think this is where a lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I don't think the cast was the biggest problem. I think it was how the fan favorite characters were handled that was the problem.
Yes, I would have loved this season to also have characters like Cody, Owen, Anne Maria, Brick, Lashana, Harold, Noah, Dawn, and Tyler. But considering this season only had 13 episodes, I simply can't do that. And I wouldn't trade out any characters from this cast either. Early on, I considered trading out Sam for Owen, but Owen at the very least goes on to compete in the redonkulous race, so it's not like we've seen the last of him. And I don't think Sam's even that bad of a character. Inoffensive, if you will. But with all the fan favorite characters left out, that still gives us other fan favorite characters like Duncan, Courtney, Alejandro, and Scott to work with. And let's just say I've got plans for them that don't involve assassinating their characters. Now, without further ado, let's look at the first episode, Heroes vs. Villains. For the cast, Courtney, Gwen, Duncan, Heather, Lindsay, Sierra, Mike, Zoe, Lightning, Cameron, Sam, Scott, and Joe still come back. But with Ezekiel still on the plane, and due to him still being a human and having made it to 5th place in World Tour in this canon, Chris considers him an all-star and actually lets him compete, to which he gets placed on the heroic hamsters. Throughout this episode and confessionals, Lindsay talks about her relationship with Tyler and how it's not going well, distracting her and explaining her bad performance in the challenge. Alejandro still finds the key to the spa hotel when he gets out of the robot suit, winning the challenge for the villainous vultures. Sierra, Ezekiel, and Sam vote for Courtney. Courtney votes for Lindsay due to her doing poor in the challenge and having a rivalrous history with her. Mike, Zoe, and Cameron vote for Lindsay due to having the least connection with her. And Lindsay votes for herself to fix things with Tyler back at home. Lindsay still gets the first boot, and Lightning still volunteers for exile on Boney Island. And honestly, I think this would have been a much better run for Lindsay. Sure, she still gets booed first, but I think what stung for me about Lindsay getting booed first in the canon All-Stars is that they went out of their way to bring back a character who I wanted to see win a season just to get rid of her immediately. But considering Lindsay won in my rewrite of Total Drama Action, that removes that problem. And this rewrite gives Lindsay an actual reason to get eliminated first, other than she forgot how to push a fucking cart. In Evil Dread, when all the villains except for Lightning are enjoying their breakfast in the spa hotel, Joe still suggests they vote off Lightning the next time they lose. Alejandro still fakes his legs being asleep to not only trick Heather, but also as a form of laying low, considering he was responsible for most of the eliminations in World Tour. During the challenge, Scott still hits Mike in the head with his shovel while freaking out about the bees, removing Mike's ability to access his other personalities and bringing out Mal. The heroic hamsters still win, but with the addition of Ezekiel helping them dig, making it easier this time. Sam still volunteers for exile. Lightning, Scott, and Gwen vote for Joe, and Joe, Duncan, Heather, and Alejandro vote for Lightning, eliminating him. Also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how funny Lightning's flush of shame is?
What the Eiffel Tower? Whoa, I must be in Germany.
In Saving Private Leechball, Ezekiel enjoys the luxuries of the spa hotel along with Mike and Cameron, claiming it to be way cozier than life on the farm ever was. While everyone's asleep, Mal still breaks Sam's video game. During this challenge, Ezekiel and Sierra form a friendship to which she begins to hallucinate Zeke as Cody. As flawed as this plotline was in canon, I think it'd work better with Ezekiel instead of Cameron for a few reasons. For one, it's not out of character for Sierra to be homesick when away from Cody. Second, Ezekiel bears more of a resemblance to Cody than Cameron does. And third, Cody and Ezekiel are both voiced by Peter Oldring, so I can see there being some decent meta jokes. Zoe still wins against Joe like in canon. Duncan, Gwen, Alejandro, Heather, and Scott vote for Joe, and Joe votes for Heather, eliminating Joe. Ezekiel volunteers for exile due to Sierra's newly found obsession over him. Duncan and Courtney still switch teams due to Duncan getting hit by a leech to protect Gwen and Courtney using Sam as a human shield. Food Fright begins the same with everyone on the Heroes team except for Ezekiel welcoming Duncan to the team in the spa hotel. It is then revealed to the audience that Mal broke Sierra's phone. Meanwhile, for the villains, Scott starts to show an open attraction to Courtney. The challenge goes the same except for Sierra continuing to obsess over Ezekiel. The heroic hamsters win before it gets revealed that Sam didn't actually finish the pancake, losing the challenge for the Heroes. Ezekiel and Sam vote for Sierra, and Mike, Zoe, Cameron, Duncan, and Sierra vote vote for Sam, to which Sam gets eliminated. Courtney and Scott share their first hug before he volunteers for exile. Throughout the challenge, Duncan still picks up on something familiar about Mike. I also want to go off script a little and say that this was my favorite episode of All Stars. So that just goes to show how it only went downhill from there. In Moon Madness, Mike still breaks Cameron's glasses while being overtaken by Mal, causing Zoe to become somewhat suspicious, but not to the point of being wary of Mike. The Blue Harvest Moon still brings out Mal for the duration of the challenge, to which he gets Cameron beat up by a gang of bunnies. Heather still pretends to have been affected by the moon to get Alejandro to show that he still cares for her. I swear, I love these two. Due to Mal being out full throttle for this challenge, Duncan only becomes further suspicious of Mike. During the challenge, Gwen wants to make things right with Courtney, to which she breaks up with Duncan on much better terms in this canon. Duncan understands, stating he knew it wouldn't last forever considering the foundation it was built on. The result of the challenge goes the exact same, with the villainous vultures winning the race. Due to Ezekiel reaching his breaking point with Sierra in this episode, he quits the game, which Chris allows due to there being an extra person in this canon. After Ezekiel's elimination, Sierra admits she went too far, and from here on out she's got her head in the game. And don't worry, she won't move on to obsess over Cameron. Scott still volunteers for exile. And no one expects the Spanish opposition. Now that Ezekiel's gone, Sierra goes on to befriend the friendship trio of Zoe, Cameron, and Mike, to which Sierra realizes that Mike has been acting strangely due to her being familiar with how he usually acts due to having seen season 4. Mike still breaks Duncan's knife while possessed by Mal. Speaking of Duncan, his good guy arc isn't nearly as on the nose in this canon. During the challenge, Gwen, Duncan, and Courtney run into each other where they have a talk where Courtney and Gwen become friends again, and Courtney and Duncan make amends and put the past behind them. As much as I love Dunkany, I wouldn't have them get back together because of the previous couple drama, as well as Courtney already having moved on to Scott. But something that was totally missed out on was Duncan and Courtney finally making things right with each other. Zoe still wins the challenge for the heroic hamsters after collecting the most eggs. In a confessional, Mike still drops a boulder on his head, which causes Mal to take full control of his body. Heather gets Gwen, Courtney, and Scott to vote for Alejandro, and Alejandro votes for Heather. Alejandro gets eliminated, but uses his immunity idol to eliminate Heather instead after revealing he can walk. Mal volunteers for exile, to which Duncan fully figures out Mike is Mal due to his whistling like in canon. A bit of a lame reason, I know, but I can buy it. In Sucker's Punch, Duncan tries to tell Zoe about Mal, to which she just doesn't believe him. As for the challenge, Zoe still gets a free point. Scott still boxes Fang and loses. Sierra boxes the mutant rat but wins due to her head being in the game. Alejandro boxes Jose and wins. Mal boxes Izzy and wins. Cameron boxes blind mutant gophers and loses. Duncan boxes Courtney and loses, to which Courtney gains a point for her team. And Gwen and Courtney box each other and each get a point, winning the challenge for the villainous vultures. The winning team doesn't get to vote off the contestant of their choice from the losing team, meaning it's just a regular vote off. Due to Zoe's refusal to believe Duncan about Mal, Duncan gets Sierra and Cameron to vote Zoe off to protect her from falling for Mal's tricks. And Mal and Zoe vote for Duncan, to which Zoe gets eliminated. What can I say? Better to get her out here than for her to continue to be oblivious as hell for like 4 more episodes, especially considering Mal's now in full control. Alejandro volunteers for exile, citing that since Heather's gone, he's going to be a big target come the merge and has to find the immunity idol again. In You Regatta Be Kidding Me, the merge consists of Duncan, Courtney, Gwen, Alejandro, Sierra, Scott, Mike/Mal, and Cameron. For the challenge, Alejandro takes the first speedboat, Courtney and Gwen take the second speedboat, Mal takes the boat of losers, and Duncan, Scott, Sierra, and Cameron take the raft due to Mal sabotaging the other speedboats. While on the raft with Scott, Sierra, and Cameron, Duncan proposes the idea of getting rid of Mike/Mal. Alejandro wins the race, gaining himself immunity. After the challenge, Duncan also approaches Gwen and Courtney to tell them about Mal, to which they call bullshit until they see how serious he is. So they decide to trust him despite not entirely believing him either. Mal rigs the votes to be unanimous against Duncan, to which Duncan gets eliminated. Duncan getting rigged out by the seasoned villain that he has prior history with is a much better way to go than getting arrested because he blew up Playa de Losers to show how cool he is.
I'm destroying the kitchen to show you my personality. I can't help it, I just have so much personality.
Seek and Ye Shall Find begins with Alejandro chilling in the hot tub of the spa hotel before something hits him. How did Duncan get voted out unanimously when he didn't vote for him? This leads Alejandro to the security room where he finds the footage of Mal rigging the votes against Duncan and then hiding the evidence under Alejandro's loser cabin pillow. After making himself a DVD of Mal, Alejandro still hides the evidence under Mal's pillow before he can convince Cameron that Alejandro did it, which causes Cameron to truly become suspicious of Mal despite his friendship with Mike, and as a result, spends the episode not trusting Mal nor his tricks. Courtney and Scott still kiss and form their relationship this episode. Instead of feral Ezekiel capturing Chris, Josh, the mutated intern from last season, does. Cameron still gets crushed by falling rocks when helping Gwen take down Josh. Gwen still wins the spa hotel for the rest of her time in the game, to which she sends Alejandro to exile on Boney Island. Cameron still gets medically evacuated, to which Gwen and Sierra hug his bubble goodbye. In the Obsta-Kill Course, Mal goes out of his way to fuck with Alejandro due to him pretty much being guaranteed to go home if he doesn't win immunity. Alejandro doesn't reveal to Mal that he has a DVD of him being a villain because realistically, what did he have to gain by revealing his tricks? A properly written Alejandro would never. Courtney wins immunity here. After the challenge, Alejandro brings Sierra, Courtney, Gwen, and Scott to the security room where he shows them the footage of Mal. Courtney and Gwen also see that Duncan was in fact right about Mal. At the elimination ceremony, Alejandro, Courtney, Scott, Sierra, and Gwen vote for Mal, and Mal votes for Alejandro, eliminating Mike/Mal. Yeah, didn't care for Mal making it to the end. Courtney takes Scott to the spa hotel with her and Gwen, and Alejandro is forced to go for exile once again, but claims it's a small price to pay with Mal gone. Now to Sunday Muddy Sunday. Without a doubt the worst episode of the entire show. But because this is a rewrite, it doesn't have to be in this canon. This episode begins with Courtney, Scott, and Gwen in the spa hotel, enjoying their time together. In the confessional, Scott notes how he's the last Gen 2 contestant still in the game, but isn't worried about his chances with Alejandro still here and Courtney and Gwen on his side. Courtney doesn't make her dreaded chart that gets revealed out of nowhere with not even the tiniest hint of build-up, and there's no drama separating her from Gwen and Scott. For the challenge, Courtney makes the best Sundae due to her experience of working at an ice cream shop. And to give a grand fuck you to the official version of this episode, Courtney finishes her ice cream first and wins the challenge. Meanwhile, a bird vomits on Alejandro's Sundae, to which he vomits trying to eat it due to his weak stomach, which he's been established to have since he was first introduced. Courtney, Scott, Gwen, and Sierra vote for Alejandro, and Alejandro votes for Scott, eliminating Alejandro. Courtney goes to the spa hotel with only Gwen due to not being allowed to bring anyone with her at this point in the game. The Bold and the Booty-ful begins with Courtney and Gwen in the spa hotel, excitedly talking about making it this far in the game together, and Scott sitting on the porch of his cabin. In the confessional, Scott worries that because of Courtney and Gwen's bonding this far into the game, he's in danger of getting eliminated. He then says it's nothing personal, but Gwen needs to go. For the challenge, Courtney is tasked with bringing back Sasquatch and Aqua. Gwen is tasked with bringing back a portrait from Chris's mansion, which is being guarded by Chef. Scott is tasked with bringing back a diamond that is being guarded by Fang. And Sierra is tasked with bringing back a golden Chris statuette. Courtney brings back Sasquatch and Aqua first, winning her a spot in the final two. Scott gets beat up trying to get the diamond from Fang, but does succeed in bringing it back. Sierra fails to bring back a golden Chris statuette, but doesn't get auto-eliminated due to Gwen having smudged the portrait of Chris while fighting Chef for it, angering Chris and eliminating her. Chris gives Courtney the reward of getting to choose who goes to the finale with her. Courtney chooses Scott to go with her to the finale, eliminating Sierra. In the Final Wreck-ening, Scott thanks Courtney for taking him to the finale. Courtney then says that with her feelings aside, he's going down, to which Scott challenges her by saying that she's on. Courtney's helpers are Gwen, Duncan, and Zoe, and Scott's helpers are Heather, Alejandro, and Mal. The rest of the previous contestants don't flow into the sun in balloons and get to cheer on the finalists of their choice. All Stars did a lot of things, but that was genuinely the worst thing it did for me. Made it seem like these characters got killed off without bringing any of these 8 back in the future for at least a cameo to confirm they're okay. I also want to bring back Owen and Izzy because they cameoed this season. Cody, Anne Maria, and Brick because they were originally supposed to compete in this season before getting scrapped. And Tyler to confirm things are now fixed with him and Lindsay in their relationship. And hey, who doesn't want some fan service? Heather and Alejandro still reveal they're an official couple. During the episode, due to Zoe having found out that Mal is in control of Mike in the time of her elimination, she gets Duncan to help her bring Mike back, leading to a subplot where Mike defeats Mal in his head with no reset button, meaning Chester, Vito, Svetlana, and Manitoba are still with him. When Mike gets brought back, him and Zoe share their first kiss once Mike is able to prove it's him and Mal is no more. Now to the endings. For Courtney's ending, Scott creates a distraction for Chef, allowing Courtney to pull the sword and finally win the $1 million. In Scott's ending, he gets the sword first and pulls it, winning the prize money, but generously splits it with Courtney, knowing how much he's always wanted to win. The island still sinks, to which Courtney and Scott ride away on top of a drifting cabin alongside Gwen and Duncan, while all the other contestants swim away like in the World Tour finale, giving a much better send-off to the characters we've grown to love.
And that was my rewrite of Total Drama All-Stars. I don't think it's up for debate. I made the season better. But thank you for watching this rewrite series. The amount of love I've received for making these videos is insane, and I really do appreciate it. And until next time, this has been Mr. Titan. Have a good day.